This is Ren Smith. So recently we heard from Bonner Herring, a Southport resident who dove into a pond to save his dog Strike from a massive alligator.
I ride the edge of the pond and just what's there. And when it first warmed up this spring, we had a small alligator. I'd say in the 5 to 6 foot range. Certainly he could break a finger or cut you or something like that, but he's not going to eat you. And I just watched him, didn't think much about it. And 2 months ago, a 7 or 8 foot alligator showed up, and that was a much larger alligator, and definitely one that I wanted to monitor. And he stayed there for a while. In fact, he chased that small one off. I watched him do it one day, and so I'm just steering clear of him. But the gator that we had the encounter with, I think he must have scared the 7 or 8 foot away because he was substantially larger than any gator I've ever seen in this pond.
It was the kind of story that makes you wonder, how often does this happen? And who exactly shows up when it does? This is Shoresides, where we tell stories about coastal North Carolina.
My name is Kate Marshall. I'm the Animal Protective Services Officer for the City of Southport. Like many people here, I am a transplant, so I came to the area approximately 12 years ago, and my background is as a vet tech, and I've been jurisdictional alligator handler through North Carolina Wildlife for the past 3 years. And I always have, the police department backs me up and they help me. I always tease that in all the pictures, the police is standing behind me, but that's okay, at least they're there.
Kate's part of what North Carolina Wildlife calls its Gator Wise program.
Because of the number of calls that we respond to that involve alligators, they wanted to have a program that people in the field would be trained to properly handle them and be able to give information out to the public. So it's a nice partnership because there's one district biologist per like 9 counties. So we can respond to calls and not have to wait for wildlife to come, which on my part of the county, Southern Brunswick County, could be like 2 hours. So that way everything gets resolved. The alligators are handled properly. I'm safe. And the other benefit is we are able to gather information data on each alligator to submit to North Carolina Wildlife for a database. So they issue us pit tags, which is similar to a microchip for a dog or cat. So you pit tag the animal, you do a series of measurements, total length, you sex the animal, and then you also remove scoots, and that gets submitted for DNA sampling. So it's benefiting everybody. I was very interested in it because this data is going to help document and help the future of the alligators in North Carolina.
So, how does it actually work when someone spots a gator?
So the calls for service will come, either a citizen will call 911 or they may call my cell phone directly, but we get a call for service that someone has encountered an alligator. We respond, and it may just be someone who's moved here has never seen an alligator before. They never even knew they existed in North Carolina. So they see it even on the side of the road or in a pond. So then it becomes an education that you're teaching them that, yes, they exist here. They're naturally secretive and shy, and they pose little threat to human safety. So you just give them their space and respect it and teach them how to coexist. And sometimes the encounter, that's all it is, just calming them down a little bit and letting them know that it's supposed to be there in the pond. That's where it lives. The main goal is to just let alligators be alligators and move around on their own.
But sometimes they end up in spaces where humans and gators are apt to clash.
In those cases that we get called, usually it's a alligator under a car or in a swimming pool or in someone's garage. So in those cases, we have to intervene for the safety of the alligator as well as the public. Then I go through the procedure and catch the alligator, secure it, and then I can do the workup on it. And then when you say relocating, in Southport, it's 4 square miles. So I'm just moving it to another water source within our jurisdiction. So I'm only allowed to operate within the city limits of Southport. So wildlife has come in, and I've identified places in town where I think are good places. Like, we're very lucky here. We have the Cape Fear River, many bodies of creeks. So there's great access points away from populations that the alligators can be released to and then move along. They're just transiting. When we encounter them, they're just transiting from usually one water source to another. So maybe where they are, that pond doesn't have enough fish or they don't let you. However, they're just moving and they are just, it's a straight line. And as they go, they're encountering now homes and cars and businesses. So they try and make their way around them, but they're going to take the shortest route, which could be over a fence and in your yard or under your fence and through your yard. And then that's when they get in trouble. They get hung up and they can't get where they want to go.
How do you actually catch an alligator?
It's almost like they play possum. So they're like, stay still and you can't see me. So just ignore me. I'm not here. One of the tools we use is it's a catch pole that we use for dogs. It's the long metal pole with the loop on the end. And then you just put it over the alligator's nose up to the neck, and then you slowly tighten it. You don't want to go too tight. Generally, they start to roll because now they're in defensive mode and they're going to try and do what they can to get away, as they would if another predator had caught them or another alligator. You'll see them start to roll, and then you just have to move them. I have carriers, just regular pet carriers that are large size that I can put the smaller ones in. And I also I call it my alligator tube. It's a large tube that I can slide them into. Anything over 4 feet is going to go into the tube. And I am comfortable handling alligators up to 5.5, 6 feet. Anything larger than that, I'm going to call North Carolina Wildlife and they will come and back me up. So that's the physical process. You want to safely and humanely secure them and not hurt anybody, not hurt yourself, and then just get them secured away safe.
When Kate gets a call, she can never tell where she'll wind up.
There was an alligator in the drive-through at Bojangles. So that was humorous. So they end up in weird places. That's basically, and people are stunned. I have a fenced yard. They'll find a way and they can squish down and get under fences. And the swimming pools are always the most challenging because now they're in, like when they're on land, I have an advantage. When they're in the water, then that's their territory. And you either can get the catch pole on them quickly or you have to have somebody within, you have to corner them. It's more of a dance, so to speak. You never go in the water. You do it all from the side of the pool. And then you have to have pretty good balance because once you secure them, then the thing they're going to do is pull away from you. So you have to have good balance and make sure they're secure and get them to the side and get them out. People are very surprised when they encounter it. We have the River Hotel, which is down off the Cape Fear River, and they've got a swimming pool right next to the beach. It's all fenced off. And there was a group of 50 tourists at the swimming pool. And this little 3-foot alligator came up out of the river, walked across the beach, and he fit right through the little slats of the metal fence and just went into the pool. And they were all in there. And then someone yelled, "There's an alligator." And then they all jumped out.
While in past years, these encounters have been a once in a while occurrence, this year has been different.
This year, and I'll say we have over 30 calls for service. There's been 25 alligators that I've had to relocate and move to another body of water. And that is like quadruple any previous years that I've been doing this. And I'm not sure if it's because we're clearing more and building that we're actually, before I think they were able to transit through the community and not be seen like a lot of the other wildlife. But now that we're clearing and their little roads around to the creeks and rivers are now open, so people are seeing them more. We also have subdivisions that are building and putting in retention ponds. So that's a body of water. They're going to be attracted to it. So they're going to try and make it over there. So I just think we're encountering them more due to the development in the area.
At this time of year, biology also is a factor.
It's mating season for alligators. So the larger alligators, over 6 feet long, is an alligator that is in sexual maturity and can mate. So those are large alligators, and they'll go into a body of water trying to call and attract a mate. The smaller alligators will know that and hear it, and they want to leave because that larger alligator is very territorial and would try and run them out or attack and kill them. So they're moving because they're trying to avoid the bigger alligator. So that's why I think most of the ones that I've encountered are smaller. So they're just trying to get out of the way and not get eaten. So it seems this time frame, spring and summer, is when they're moving around more. And that's why I think there's such an uptick this time of year. End of July, first part of August. North Carolina alligators are not active year round, unlike our alligators are unique as to like Florida because they are dormant for the winter parts of the year. So in Florida, they're active all the time. They eat year round, so they actually can get bigger faster.
I had to ask Kate about Bonner's story.
Yes, I'm aware. Mr. Herring? Yes. What they need to do is if they're near bodies of water anywhere in North Carolina, they need to keep their pet on a leash and keep them away from water. If you're close to the water, the alligators sense the vibration around the edge of the water. And so that's what they come up to investigate if it's a food source. A human to them is, that's too big, I'm not going to go after it. But a dog is fair game. So you need to keep your dog and then your children away from the edges in our county, in our area, Brunswick County. This is as far north as they go in North Carolina. If you're in this area near a body of water, you have to assume there's an alligator in it. So, and what you don't do is ever go into the water. That's their territory. That's where they are the most lethal, and it's dangerous, and you may not survive. When wildlife goes out to try and get counts of alligators, they go out at night and they use spotlight, and then they count their eyes. And you'll see the red. You'll see that they're out there because they're quiet and they're stealth in the water. That's their job. But it's so unique, and they've been around for millions of years. And there's no ill intent. People are always afraid that if they see an alligator on the land, and they're walking their dog, the alligator is going to chase them down the street and attack them. When they're on land, they're just transiting. So they'll only get in defensive mode if they're approached and antagonized. We don't take selfies. The rule of thumb they taught us was for every foot of an alligator, you should stay a school bus length away. 1 foot alligator is a school bus, and most of the ones that are moving are like at least 4 feet. So give them their distance.
There's one more thing Kate told me, something Southport residents should definitely be aware of.
I actually need to let you know I'm actually leaving North Carolina at the end of July. This is my last alligator season. They'll get the next person to come in and get trained under wildlife.
So yes, after years of chasing down Southport's alligators, she's moving on. Someone new will learn to read the patterns of a town caught between development and nature. Because if this year has taught Southport anything, it's that alligators aren't going anywhere. They've been here for millions of years and will be here for millions more. The question is, how do we live with them? In a follow-up episode, we'll be learning more about the Gator Wise program. This is Shoresides, and I'm Rent Smith. Thanks for listening.
Thanks to Kate Marshall, Bonner Herring, and the North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission. Learn more about Shoresides at shoresides.org.